Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next.
Dricus Khamzat is a pretty big fight that you guys can put on right now.
Yeah.
I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now.
Styles make fights, and you never seen Dricus fight. Good wrestler, and Khamzat's one of the best.
Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your legs. And you got to think his endurance is probably going to be better at 85 than it was at 70 because of the cut. For Khamzat, it's like 85 is really where he should have been all along.
But again, he gassed out against Usman. Usman went up to 85.
Usman's a world champion. You know, in the third round, Usman did what a world champion does. He rallied.
As UFC 319 approaches, all eyes are on the much-anticipated middleweight title fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. This matchup has been building for months, and the stakes are higher than ever. Du Plessis will be defending his middleweight title for the third time, while Chimaev, undefeated and with a perfect 14-0 record, is looking to make history by capturing the 185-pound belt.
Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. How do you feel about this fight, and where do you see this fight?
Remember, Khamzat never have a conditioning problem before this. After COVID, it really messed him up. And I was there. He was bleeding, like throwing up like blood. And he was in Vegas, right? But as far as I know now, he's in Russia. He's in camp. He's focused. It's hard to bet against focused Khamzat, healthy Khamzat, but also this Du Plessis guy. Like the way he wins, I was like, how this guy win? You know, like he's just so tough. So durable. He's a warrior, man. He really is a warrior.
There is no shortage of opinions on who will emerge victorious, with some pundits favoring Chimaev due to his all-around abilities, and others backing Du Plessis for his relentless style and ability to break opponents down over time. But the central question remains, who will come out on top?
Dricus Du Plessis, the man. It looks like it's going to be very difficult to get the belt off of him. He still has work to do at middleweight. Khamzat Chimaev being problem number one. But watching Dricus today, I don't know that Chimaev just drives across the mat and takes him down. He's so good at what he does. I know Chimaev has a massive following and people like him. He's been dominant. I just don't know that he has ever seen anyone like Du Plessis. How do you train for him? Who can you bring in that does the things that Du Plessis does? Du Plessis throws punches and kicks at the same time, and it worked. He's a puzzle that has not been solved in the UFC. It's going to be very difficult to get the belt off.
Belal Muhammad is among those who have weighed in on the bout. He believes Khamzat Chimaev's cardio and pacing could be the key to his success. Muhammad expressed his thoughts on YouTube, stating that people often underestimate Chimaev's endurance, especially in a championship fight. Remember the Name agreed with Khabib Nurmagomedov's assessment, suggesting that Chimaev, although known for his elite grappling, could do well if he keeps the fight standing. Du Plessis is a tough competitor, capable of wearing down opponents, but Chimaev's technical striking and grappling superiority, according to Muhammad, should secure him the win if he avoids burning out in the opening round.
Dricus Du Plessis. But when you're looking at the guys he fought stylistically, right? He hasn't fought a guy who trying to take him down yet. It's all been strikers. His last two, it's Adesanya and Strickland. Like when he fought Brunson was killing him the first couple rounds. And then he just gassed. You know, we've seen him get taken down by Brunson. We've seen him get taken down by Whittaker. He's gotten taken down by guys so easily. That's why I think Chimaev's gonna walk through.
I know that's your boy, but Khamzat has got some of the worst cardio in the entire company.
You don't need cardio if you finish the guy in 2 minutes.
But Dricus isn't gonna get finished. He's got an iron chin and an iron will.
This idea of pacing is crucial when it comes to Chimaev's success. While Chimaev has proven himself as a dominant force, taking down opponents with ease and finishing them early, Muhammad cautioned that rushing in to finish Du Plessis too quickly could result in fatigue. If Chimaev can stay patient, avoid overexerting himself early, and manage his energy efficiently, he should come out on top. Du Plessis, on the other hand, is known for his toughness, and if Chimaev cannot put him away early, Du Plessis could very well capitalize on the later rounds, as he tends to get stronger as the fight goes on.
Я думаю, что мое личное мнение, я бы Хамзату посоветовал бы, чтобы он в стойке дрался с ним.
Но мне кажется, вот как будто вот его стиль такой, что с первых минут атаку, как будто его надо придерживаться, нет, этого стиля?
Прикинь, если я делал бы, я бы посоветовал бы по-другому.
Да.
Вот чисто по боксу пустых, Хамзат лучше. Вот чисто по боксу. Это мое мнение. Просто здесь есть такой момент. Ты можешь сфорсировать события. Там раунд, 2. Но если ты его не финишируешь, ты очень много энергии потратишь. А потом надо в чемпионских боях
Adding fuel to the fire, UFC Hall of Famer Tito Ortiz has also weighed in with his prediction. Ortiz, who is known for his keen analysis of fight dynamics, believes that Chimaev's ferocity and dominant wrestling style will be too much for Du Plessis. Ortiz emphasized how dangerous Chimaev is, pointing out that Du Plessis will realize just how much of a gap there is in their grappling abilities. For Ortiz, Chimaev's wrestling is on another level compared to Du Plessis, and the fight could be a wake-up call for the South African champion. If Chimaev can impose his will on the ground early, Ortiz sees a dominant victory in his future.
How do you predict that fight plays out?
People are going to see how vicious Chimaev truly is. I respect the guy. He's a monster. Du Plessis, the champ, I think he's in him for a rude awakening because he's going to realize that his wrestling is not as good as Chimaev's truly is. And it was heartbreaking for me in that middleweight division because when Bo Nichols got picked apart his last fight, I was like, man, why didn't you wrestle? You're one of the best guys in the world in wrestling. Use your wrestling. And that's what all the Russians do. They use their wrestling to set up punches. They use their punches to set up the wrestling. And then they take people down and they choke them because they're really good at it. I think Chimaev, I would give it maybe 4 rounds, 3 to 4 rounds. I think Chimaev just overwhelms him too much. I think that's my opinion. Once again, I watch him. I watch Chimaev. I just see how tough he is, and I know he had training camp actually at Jackson Clothing Company or Jackson in California, correct? And was it
with Bear and Rampage is also there.
Yep. And so I know he's doing really well. I talked to Rampage. Rampage goes, no, he's the real deal, Tito. I go, I see him. I watch his fights and how vicious. I mean, he can shoot a double leg from half the cage and still take a guy down. He's just very vicious.
Another major name who has given his take on the fight is former bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw. Dillashaw, like many others, has analyzed Chimaev's game closely and has warned that his cardio could become a problem. Chimaev is known for pushing a relentless pace and going for the finish early, but Dillashaw pointed out that this approach might not work against Du Plessis. You can only do that for so long, Dillashaw said, referring to Chimaev's aggressive style. He suggested that if Chimaev does not properly manage his energy and pace, he might find himself struggling in the later rounds, especially against someone like Du Plessis, who thrives in high-pressure situations. Dillashaw's advice is clear. Chimaev must learn to control his intensity to avoid fatigue if he is to secure the middleweight title.
How are you going to train Khamzat Chimaev to beat DDP?
Cardio. I just don't think he has the gas tank. If he doesn't finish DDP to win the fight. Because he's good. He's strong. His grappling's better. He's got good technical striking. I would put a lot more money on Chimaev if he trains the right way for his cardio. If he doesn't train his cardio the right way, I think it's going to be hard for him to put DDP away, and DDP's going to get him in the later rounds and gas him out. DDP ain't going to get tired.
One voice that stands out with a unique perspective is Robert Whittaker, the former middleweight champion who has fought both Du Plessis and Chimaev. Whittaker's analysis provides some valuable insight as he has first-hand experience against both fighters. The Australian shared his belief that Chimaev's best chance of winning lies in securing an early finish, as he is known for his dominant first-round performances. However, Whittaker suggested that if Chimaev cannot finish Du Plessis early, the South African would begin to gain confidence, and that could change the course of the fight. Whittaker believes that Du Plessis has the ability to recover, adapt, and keep coming forward, even if things aren't going his way initially. For Whittaker, it's clear that the longer the fight goes, the more it favors Du Plessis.
DDP and Khamzat, who do you think wins that fight?
Honestly, Chimaev is going to get him to the ground. If he doesn't finish him there, I don't think he wins. I think if you can't get Dricus out in the first, which Chimaev can do, his first round finishes is his thing. But if he doesn't get him out of there, I think Dricus, he's a guy that if you don't get rid of, kind of wins.
In addition to Whittaker's analysis, Gilbert Burns has made an interesting prediction. Burns, who has trained with both Chimaev and Du Plessis, took a different stance, favoring Du Plessis to retain his title. Burns acknowledged that Chimaev is an incredibly dangerous fighter, but he emphasized Du Plessis' unbreakable will and his ability ability to get stronger as the fight progresses. According to Burns, if Chimaev doesn't finish Du Plessis in the first or second round, he will struggle in the later rounds as Du Plessis' pressure and stamina take over. Burns' take is somewhat unconventional, as many people expect Chimaev's early onslaught to be too much for Du Plessis, but Burns firmly believes that Du Plessis' never-say-die attitude will shine through, especially in the later stages of the fight.
I trained with Dricus a lot. Dricus is actually a very, very good fighter. Crazy cardio, very physically strong. He's a very hard fight to predict. You know, I think Chimaev is going to start very strong, like he always do. I do believe Dricus can kind of slow him down, don't get submitted, relax a little bit. But I do believe Dricus, if he get past that first round, I think that's the hardest part. What I think he will do, I think he's gonna pass, and then he's gonna be a nightmare for Chimaev. I think Dricus is a monster, hits very hard, doesn't break, good gas tank. I do believe Dricus is gonna beat Chimaev and remain the champion.
Despite these differing opinions, there's also been some buzz surrounding a supposed bet between Du Plessis and Chimaev about takedowns. Some rumors suggested that Du Plessis had offered Chimaev money for every successful takedown, but it seems this was misunderstood. The wager, as it turns out, was an offer from Du Plessis' coach to his training partners, rather than a personal bet with Chimaev. Nevertheless, the idea of Chimaev dominating the wrestling game is something many analysts agree on.
Dricus Du Plessis has a $10,000 proposal for Chimaev. I'll give you $10,000 every time you can take me down. So what does a fight look like between Chimaev and Dricus if there's no takedown? Are you completely certain that for Chimaev to win this fight, he must take him down? But what if we put it in reverse? Chimaev can't take him down. That's what Dricus is saying is going to happen. Are we sure that Chimaev can't strike with him? Are you sure that in the absence of a takedown, Chimaev cannot beat Dricus Du Plessis?
Arman Sarukian, who has trained alongside Chimaev, has argued that if Du Plessis were to make such a bet, he would likely be left with very little money by the end of the fight. Sarukian pointed out that while getting Chimaev to the ground isn't particularly difficult, keeping him there is another matter entirely, and he believes that Chimaev's wrestling will prove too much for Du Plessis.
Without giving anything away, of course, what is a good strategy Khamzat is looking at in terms of going at Dricus?
He does every fight the almost same things, and he's not gonna change anything. DDP thinks that Khamzat not gonna take him down.
He said he'll give him. I saw on Twitter, Dricus said he'll give him 10,000 for every time he's able to take him down.
If he's really thinks like he's gonna pay his 10,000, he's not gonna make money from that fight. He's gotta give all his money to Khamzat.
Another voice that has weighed in on the upcoming bout is Israel Adesanya, the former middleweight champion who recently faced Du Plessis. Adesanya is confident that Du Plessis is the favorite going into the fight, despite Chimaev's undefeated record. Adesanya predicted that Du Plessis would win, and his reasoning lies in the fact that Du Plessis tends to get stronger as the rounds go on. While he acknowledged Chimaev's chances in the early rounds, Adesanya believes that if Du Plessis survives that initial onslaught, his chaotic, unpredictable style will overwhelm Chimaev in the later stages. Adesanya's prediction is an endorsement of Du Plessis' resilience and his ability to push through adversity, which could be crucial in a high-stakes bout like this.
I think just late finish, late finish. Khamzat would, I think Khamzat will, if he wins, it's the first 2 rounds. Or the first round. Well, Dricus is just chaotic. Chaotic good, chaotic evil. That's literally what this fight might be. Chaotic good versus chaotic evil.
At the heart of this fight, both fighters bring unique skill sets and strengths to the table. Chimaev's explosive early finishes and superior grappling make him a dangerous challenger, while Du Plessis' ability to wear down his opponents with relentless pressure and toughness makes him a formidable champion. For Chimaev, the key to victory may lie in managing his pace and avoiding an early burnout, while Du Plessis will need to survive the early rounds and capitalize on any opportunity that comes his way.
Your boy, the King of Africa, DDP, taking on Khamzat Chimaev. Like, what do you think about that one?
I don't know anymore, man.
These guys
Really?
are, I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him. And I still think that, dude, he might just be too strong to be muscled around like this. But Chimaev is truly on a different level.
I think DDP beats him.
I think he could, and I am leaning that way.
Yeah.
But now I'm real. You know, I also want DDP to win, but I'm leaning towards DDP.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea of Chimaev is a round one guy.
The fight between Du Plessis and Chimaev is shaping up to be a classic showdown with high stakes, differing opinions, and plenty of drama. It's a battle of attrition versus explosiveness, and it's a fight that could go either way. But one thing is certain, UFC 319 will deliver a spectacle, and come August 16th, we'll find out who will leave the octagon as the middleweight champion.